Here.
Mr. Locke? Here. All present, Mayor.
Okay. We have a quorum all present. Now, announcements. Under the announcements, I do have one, and this is for a young lady, Miss Jarvis Kennedy. And Miss Kennedy actually represented the city last year over in Mississippi and did a wonderful job. Well, there is a benefactor that want her to do it again this year, and he wanted the city to actually give her the funds. The city can't give city money, so he, like I said, he helped out. So, Jarvis, would you come up, and we would like to give you a donation. And as I was saying, the city can't give city funds, but he was thinking about the city, and he wanted the city to give you this. So I can't give you his name, but this is $1,000 to help you on your. Okay. Public comment that's related to items on the agenda. Approve previous minutes, special meeting, March 15th, 2016.
I make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Armstrong, second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Motion passes. Finance Committee report, Resolution 1656. Mr. Shaw.
Mayor, we have reviewed the bills and claims for the month of March, and I move that we accept these bills and claims as presented. I second that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Moore. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Recognition of service, Chief Campbell.
Mayor, Alderman. This has to do with, first off, is recognition of Officer Richard Pace. I was out of town at conference and the storm hit. I was on the phone with Miss Shirley and the mayor, and they were saying, keep your seat where he is at. And I was on the phone with James Martis with Homeland Security, keeping me up to date of how bad it was getting. Officer Pace come to work the 9th, that Wednesday night, and began his shift at 6 p.m. I was stuck in Bastrop, Louisiana at the Chief of Police Conference and finding out how bad the weather was getting. Officer Pace come on shift at 6 p.m. that night, and I'm to understand that the mayor was a witness to his actions. Come on forward, Officer Pace. Richard's been with us and left and come back this time. He promised it to me, Chief, I'm gonna be here to stay. One of us gonna retire the other one. That night, he come upon a lady that was stuck in her vehicle, and the floodwaters on White Avenue, I believe, right there in South Cox, was about to take her vehicle over. Made contact with the sheriff's department, and the rescue boat was too far away. Officer Pace took it upon himself without any other second thought and waded water, I'm being told, about half chest high to almost chest high, and saved the lady and got her out of her vehicle before the vehicle was swept away by the floodwaters. The mayor and I spoke, and I just want to recognize Officer Pace for above and beyond the duty.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, that was one that I don't know if he saw me, I saw him. That was my headlights.
I wasn't. I did not realize that. I was just hoping it wasn't somebody else I was fixing to have to save. So. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Next would be a appointment to the Civil Service Board. And this, I guess we would call it a college appointment. It's a appointment through the city. And I would like to appoint Mr. James George Scott, to the Civil Service Board. We do have a spot that is vacant, and he would fill this spot. And I'd like to make that recommendation.
Mayor, I move a motion that we accept James as a member of the Civil Service Board.
Second that motion, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passed. Mr. Scott, I guess he was a 30-year teacher in the school system, and he retired last year. But he did say he would like to serve. Okay. Resolution 1657, and that's to appoint attorney to the, a hearing officer, actually, and this is for the demolition department. Normally, in previous years, we have had the council as the hearing officer, but what we're doing, we're getting an attorney to hear these complaints brought by code enforcement, and he would make the rulings and do anything, and that's what I'm asking for the authority to sign the contract to appoint J.R. Pierre or Pierre and Pierre LLC attorney at law in Monroe. I would like to appoint him as his firm as the hearing officer for demolition.
Mayor, I make that motion.
Second that, Mayor.
We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Shaw. Any questions? Any discussions? All for?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Permission to advertise for bids for street improvements, 2016. Ms. Goldman?
Mayor and council, we are fixing to begin a much-needed street improvement project. We're going to ask you to give us permission to advertise for bids for two different contracts. First, the sewer department, the list of streets that y'all have given us to redo, we've already cambered them, but any of those streets that has sewer repairs, we're going to advertise for bids to repair the sewer. Probably it's going to be slip line. And then the second part would be to actually redo all of those streets once the sewer has been fixed.
This is so that once we do the streets, we won't have to tear them up to do the sewer. We're going to do the sewer first. Okay.
I make that motion, Mayor. I second.
We have a motion by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Permission to advertise for bids for runway, taxiway, safety area, earthwork. Ms. Goldman?
Mayor, also Brent is here too, and I'll let him
Yeah,
start
Brent is
off with
here.
it.
Yeah, okay.
Let me do it.
There you go. Brent is director of the airport.
Actually, what this is a project that we'd already put out to bid previously, but at the time that we put it out to bid, we didn't have nearly as much activity at the airport as we do now. And so the time frames that we had built into the project were not going to work out as we had already had them designed. So we're having to put this out, rebid it with a different timeline involved so that we can work around the different businesses that we have out there, allow them to kind of continue to operate during the construction period. But this is essentially the same project that we had previously bid.
Okay. And what he's talking about, we now have a Flying Tiger out there where we went from, 50 flights a month to over 300 and more.
Well over 300.
Way over 300. And well, actually, if you haven't had a chance to go out by the airport, there are new buildings and a whole lot. They're also teaching drones, which is a going thing, and which is the agricultural spraying. They're certified, and it's something that's, I guess, even though you've seen them for years, you've seen crop dusters, but now they're being certified. Up until now, there hasn't been any certification. They just spray. Now, this is registered program through Delta, should I say Delta Community College. It's a registered program in the state, and it's the first one in the state.
And something else to keep in mind too, this is the first private development we've had on the airport since, if the number's right, 1966, I believe, when
Right.
Dr. Garnier built his hangar. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Brent, did we get any I'm sorry. Did we
Yes,
get
sir.
any flooding out there? or what?
We really didn't. It's like I like to tell people, we're a swamp on a hill. So most of the water we got just dissipated quickly.
Will the airport be out of service for this work
It will, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
for how long?
Right now, I think it's,
It was
timeframe
60
on
days,
that?
I'm not sure.
It
what
was 60, but I think they bumped that up to, I think at least 90.
Has that all been communicated through Flying Tigers?
Yes, sir.
Everybody's on board with
Yes, sir.
the plan?
Plan and the start dates and everything.
Any other discussion? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Locke, second by Mr. Armstrong. All for?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Permission to advertise for bids and sell used guns from the Bastrop Police Department. Chief Campbell?
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, back, probably about the late fall to midwinter, I got to discussing with, Captain Evans, my firearms instructor also, about the fact of the guns that we were in current operation and using were bought in 2000. We've sold some to some retiring captains and sergeants that they've left, but we needed to rotate out into new handguns. We've taken delivery of the new handguns back in early February. This is the sale of the 29 handguns that we've rotated out of. The Glock 9mm that the department uses has some moving parts and springs that basically it was an officer safety issue. Gun 16, 17 years old. Don't want to take any officer risk. Rotate into some new handguns. We've taken delivery of 25 new ones, and we've rotated out the every officer except for one that's off on medical leave, rotated out and got them into the new guns. These are the 29 that are surplus that we are basically the old guns. So excluding the ones that we've sold in the past to retiring officers, we have these 29 Glock 17 Generation 3s that are now surplus and is asking for permission to advertise for bids for those.
I make that motion, Mayor.
We have a motion by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Johnson, advertise for sale of the 29 Glocks.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The 29 of the Generation 3 Glock 17 9mm.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
You can't sell to, who can you sell to?
A gun dealer.
It has to be a gun
registered
dealer.
gun dealer,
Right.
authorized gun dealer.
The only way we can sell would be the officer retires with at least 20 years of service. At that point, the officer chooses to retire, he can buy the handgun that is issued to him at his time of service.
And are these potential buyers, dealers, are they aware of that this is surplus guns?
It will be in the bid package.
Right, no one's aware, Mr. Shaw, at this point, he's just asking for permission to start the bid.
Yeah, I understand, but what I'm asking, once you.
Right, they will be
They're
acknowledged that,
aware that these are used guns.
that they will be, yes, sir, that'll be part of the package that I'll prepare to give to Ms. Sandra.
From a safety standpoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did we get a motion?
Yeah, we have a motion in a second. Vote.
Motion and a second. All for? Against? Motion passes. Thank you, Chief. Now, I would like to ask for a motion to expand the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Do I have to stay what it's for, Doug?
Yes.
Okay, it's for a regulatory code on the liquor ordinance, and also for Mr. Bradford would like to speak to the council.
Can we do that?
We'll do
Allow
the
an
liquor.
individual to speak? Is
Is
that the question?
related to this?
I think
No,
so.
it's not related to the
Oh, okay.
liquor.
It's two separate
It's
issues.
two separate issues.
But we need to do this first then.
Well, you have the right to expand the agenda if that's the question.
So move.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All for? Against? Motion passes. Okay, and I would ask Doug, this ordinance,
Yes, sir. This is an ordinance being presented for introduction. It's based on a request that I received to do the following. Right now, on Sundays, you're not able, in a commercial establishment that does business with the public, sell packaged liquor sell liquor that is for consumption on the premises to the public. The other days of the week you can, on Sunday you cannot. And as you know, we recently changed the ordinance to allow packaged liquor to be sold on Sunday, but not for it to be consumed on premises on Sunday. So based on the request that I received, this is one for introduction tonight. If it is adopted at the next meeting, that will allow for consumption on the premises on Sundays between the hours of 12 noon and 12 midnight.
and this is just introduction and just
That's
for a
right.
month.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Next, Mr. Bradford, Reverend Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman. I'd like to come before the council tonight. I have a concern about the way we are collecting delinquent taxes on property taxes. That was a resolution 131529A. And I have a copy here. I also have a handout here. I know some moved the handout. Can I approach the?
Yeah.
Approach, okay.
Thank you, sir.
That resolution authorized the city of Bastrop to enter into a contract with Arcon, known as Civil Service, Civil Group,
Civic Source.
Civil Source, thank you, Ms. Glenn. And they collect taxes, delinquent taxes on behalf of the city of Bastrop. And I have some concerns that they are violating the tax commission code because they're only allowed to collect 10% of, and they're charging like $50 on an $11 piece of property. That's way over 10%. And I think that kind of violates the Louisiana tax code. They're only 1% each month they're out there and 10% there. They cannot have, I think they call it a research fee. That's an additional fee. They can't label it as a research fee and charge that type of percentage on a delinquent property. I feel we need to really look at the contract that we have, the agreement we have with them. If you look there on the thing I just provided you there, look at the agreement. Let me see what the page is on. I think that's Article, let's see, 10, maybe Article 10. Let's start with Article 3, the compensation. Let's start there because that's basically where it starts, where they listed, where you agree to, in a delinquent taxes, they can have what you call a research fee. If you see at the very bottom of page 2 there. $35. They said you can collect $35 electronic. And if it go online, $50 off-site. I don't quite understand what that means, but I think that's kind of excessive to the poor peoples in this community, especially who pay late taxes. Poor people do. And when you're charging with the law, the city government can't give a contract, the authorization to do something that they're not allowed to do by law. In other words, you can't give them your power of attorney to go out and collect something from John Doe that the law don't require, do not allow you to do. I think we need to look at that contract very closely because it's definitely a hardship and it's not good for the community of Bastrop. I kind of did a little research and I think I got that attached to it too. If you look back there, you'll see we paid out some $102,000.
It was 99 something.
99 what we collected. We collected 99,000, but we paid out some 102,000 city dollars. That's more than we collected. That's not good for the city of Bastrop. That's not good for even the governor of Bastrop. That's something we need to look into. It came to my attention because I was late on my taxes, you know, and I said, wow, I didn't understand this until I seen it, and I kind of researched it, and I don't think the law allowed them to collect no more than 10% of the amount, you know, of the total amount due once the collection and the interest 1%, they can get 10%. And I was sitting there myself, and I calculated $52 on a $11 piece of property. Now for this person to get this $11 piece of property back to today, well, let's say back in March, it would cost him $78 on a piece of property we was only charging $11 for. I mean, that's excessive, and I think it's against the law. I think we need to definitely look into the contract. I guess there's some good things that it takes over some of the work law, but it's not saving us any money. We have to pay, I don't know how many people we have in the clerk office that we have to pay their salary to compile this information and send to them in New Orleans. That's really a waste of taxpayer money and really abuse to the poor people in this community. And I think that we should take the necessary precaution and look into that and terminate. If you go to page 5, it says either party have the right to terminate this contract with a 60-day notice. I come before the council tonight asking that the council look at this and give them a 60-day notice, 60-day notice of the contract to terminate it and research this before we get into it. I think it's really more damaging to the citizen of this community and, you know, and costing us more money. We're not making any money. It doesn't, from the figures I gather, it's not benefiting the city, and I don't think we're allowed to make profits off taxpayers, you know, off property. I think the tax commission governed that, and I think the commission is looking into this as well. I asked the city tonight to vacate the resolution and terminate that contract. Give them a notice of termination of that contract. So that contract is causing a hardship to poor people in Bastrop. Who late paying taxes? Poor people. And it's not benefiting us. We're not making it profit. Why bring a hardship on our citizens? What we're going through is one of the poorest struggling cities in Northeast Louisiana. But we're going to make it. We're going to do better, I'm sure. And one other thing I wanted, if you want to look at, if you don't make a decision tonight, look at Article 8. Wouldn't crack that clear. You talk about vendors. If they decide to protest this termination, they want to go into the vendor of New Orleans or have a hearing or federal court. So we get these, it's good for companies to grow. We get these big high cities companies moving to small cities and run, you know, their business strategy and scheme on small cities. And I think we've been scammed. I really don't see where this is benefiting us, that someone can show me something different, that, you know, maybe, you know, I might be wrong, but the way it reads, we're not benefiting, and it's just causing hardship to poor people in this community. And I respect it for asking this council, get out of this contract. You can get them said today, you know, you don't have to pay them, I think, no more. I don't know what your status is right now exactly, because I know I received a notice of tax sale. That's a little premature. Raised a letter of tax sale just yesterday on my property because I refused to pay it until I got some clarification. You know, and I think that if it's good for the city, it's fine. If it's not, you know, we can get out of it and move forward and go back to the old way of doing things, maybe, because they only allow 10%, and they charging $52 on every piece of property that is delinquent. I don't care if it's $10, $100, or $1,000. They got this research fee, they call it, I guess they're going with the off-site fabrication, off-site, and charging $52 to each city, each city. I would like for the council to take some type of action on this tonight because we are, may be caught in violation of the Louisiana tax law, 547. And we don't need any headlines of we doing anything wrong in our community. Amen? We are a united community and we want to stay a united community. And we want everyone to be served and treated fair, and we want to do the best interest of our citizens in our community.
Mr. Bradford,
Yes,
I hear exactly what you're asking us to do, but now you ask us to look at it first, right?
Yeah, if you like to, if you don't want to make a decision right now because it just come to you, you can look at it. I mean, it's something that we need to really look at expeditionally, but we don't need to lay it around because instead of generating taxes on poor people who haven't paid.
Well, I agree, but
Sure, I agree with you.
You want us to act on it tonight, too?
If you feel you're knowledgeable enough of what you see, if not, I would like for you to give yourself a week or two. You know, you can call a special meeting. You know, you can talk with Mr. Lawrence and discuss it, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Bradford, we would actually have to look at it.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the sales tax report. And out of the $2,800,000 we collect, we've collected $2,700,000. We are about 27,000 short. We haven't lost a dime.
Oh, I just said we're lost,
Okay.
but the people,
Now,
if you
and
call
also-
hardship too, you should be made money if you're charging $52 there.
No, sir.
Okay,
See,
well.
that's the part.
I didn't say you
don't-
lost anything.
That's the part you don't understand.
Okay, well, tell me what I want to say,
Okay,
Mayor.
if you're late, you get a letter stating that you're late. That has to be paid for,
Yeah.
which is divided.
$1.25 postage.
Which is divided between, no, they're registered mostly. And then they come, after they can't send you registered, then they gonna just send it out. And each month is added up. Each month.
You don't send that letter out but once. I got them, sir, right here. You don't send them out for every quarter, every 3 or 4 months. You don't send them out every month. I don't receive two. I seen my first register just yesterday, and I seen one prior to them. And one other thing, since you're thinking about that, Mayor, that $52, that whoever profited from it, because it's got to be a profit for someone, that $52 is not even stated in the original letter that you send out for your taxing. You might should state that if you want to speed the taxpayers up.
It also takes care of your letter that's mailed out.
No, that's a separate charge, sir.
It takes care of the advertisement.
No, sir, that's separate. That's separate. You misunderstand that, Mayor. That's separate. That's separate. That's governed by the law. The law requires for that to be done. Okay, but it do not require a research fee of $50-some. Okay, it spells it out right under the revised statute 47. It says, let me get a bill here. I got a lot of them in the last.
Okay, we're not gonna settle it tonight. We're gonna read over all of it.
Okay,
and
sure.
we will take it under advisement.
Okay, I appreciate that. You know, we all on the same team. You know, citizen on the same, but see, if you can approach it here.
Anyone have?
It say $50 research fee, and then also have $1.50 for the first mail out. It have $30 for publication once it's advertised. That's a separate charge. That's a separate
Mr.
charge.
Bradford.
Okay.
That's the law that you can pass. You can do the mail out and the charge, but this $52 is nowhere in the revised statute $47. I think they scheming us.
Mr. Bradford, can I ask you a question?
Sure you can.
How much was your property tax?
My property taxes, let's see, mine original was, let's see, I got several here, one on me. My original was $97, now it's $147.
It was
And it might be a little more because I got a letter yesterday, it might be about in the 50 because they can charge me for the $15, whatever it be. It's worth it to get the truth to the citizen that it's worth it to me. I'm not gonna pay tax until I get satisfaction.
In other words,
Okay.
you said it was $97?
Yeah, now it's $147.
Okay, and when they put the service charge on it, it costs you extra
$52.
$52.
Yeah, plus interest, plus the 1% interest that they're allowed to charge me.
For being late.
Yeah, that made it $52. Really, they charging flat $50 what the year, and they writing the other end, in on the $1.50 cent, whatever it is, into the bill, kind of covering it, but that's not fair to this
Okay.
community, that's not fair.
Like I said, we're gonna study what you gave us, and we're
Okay.
gonna go through it, and we'll take it under advisement.
Okay, I appreciate that, Mayor,
Thank
and I
you.
appreciate the council letting me come before them, and we're all on the same team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Let's see, I believe that was the last thing we had on there. Okay. Okay. We have a motion to adjourn. Second. All vote. Motion adjourned.
So, hey, the mayor needs to sign an agreement with FEMA. Yeah. And